didn't plan this out really well because we're just be laughing at each other the entire time.
Every time I look at the screen, I'm like,
anything seriously.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Rick doesn't have.
It's a good night.
So this past weekend, we got our finale for House of the Dragon. Yes. We wanted to make sure that we had Brother Rob back because he's a maester, sort of.
That's pretty much much it.
You've been taking Valyrian on...
I am on day 59.
Oh, wow.
High Valyrian.
You got the Rosetta Stone of the Valyrian.
Pretty much.
How's that going?
It's good. It's interesting because I'm really going to nerd out here. I actually recognize some of the words in the show, when they're speaking. And it's very basic words, but it's really cool. I don't know. It was just Kaylee, my wife. She goes, "Why don't you learn something useful?" And I was like, "Well, it's useful."
Going on the show on Thursday.
So thank you very much.
Something useful or High Valyrian.
That's cool. 60 days in though. You got
60 days in. 60 days in.
Man.
60-day streak.
Can you formulate sentences?
I can formulate words.
Okay.
So not many, but a few of them.
That's cool.
So if we get into a situation, this is what you're saying potentially. If we get into a situation where we need to speak with a dragon,
yes,
you can come with us and you can
Possibly
negotiate. You can broker that deal.
help us out.
Sure. if I channel my inner blonde bowl cut, then maybe they'll believe me more. But it's
not looking like this. You're not.
I was gonna say, yeah,
looking like this. This is very not.
Dragon's like, what? I'm not doing anything.
But I'm enjoying it. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm a big nerd about this stuff. So
that's awesome.
I love it. Sonny, what did you think about the finale? What are your thoughts, Giggles?
I can't take myself seriously. I can't look straight. It was great. I really loved it. No, I think it was. I wish we had 20 more minutes just to see what the outcome of what happened at the end would be. I thought it was amazing. It definitely blew all the other shows out of the water that have come out recently. I'm not going to be mean and say which shows.
Lord of the Rings.
But I think it was a better finale. Dude, to see all the other dragons, amazing. To see how big Vagar was compared to Arax.
Yeah,
it was terrifying. Next season isn't going to be out for 2 years? 2024.
They don't start shooting, I think, until April.
That sucks.
So
I cry.
They currently are already working on writing it and getting everything done, though. So I mean, it's in process. Here we are. We'll have to wait 2 years, but.
I don't know. I think, what did you think you can't compare it to season 1 Game of Thrones, but what would you compare it to of your Game of Thrones experience? Because I thought that was...
They moved quickly.
Pretty damn good.
That's probably one of the issues I'd say about it. It moved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
A few time jumps.
For a first season,
that's a lot.
They did everything. They packed it full of excitement. It was a very exciting first season where a lot of first seasons for a lot of shows, you don't get this much excitement in one
that's true.
series. And I thought the time jumps were responsible for a lot of that. I mean, come on.
It's my I think I did
great.
have a little gripe with the time jump stuff because they only aged up 2 of the characters and then everybody else didn't. And then I guess the kids rather, but it just, I don't know. I got so used to.
You didn't think that a lot of people looked like they had aged 6
No,
years?
AKA Crispin Cole. I mean,
this dude's got
whole time.
He's the same age the entire time, which whatever,
Exactly the same.
I think that's literally the only gripe that I have with the time jumps. But I think it was a great show.
The castings of any time jump person that actually did change character or actor, I should say, were phenomenal.
Yeah, they did a great job. The way they
matched the younger to the older, they literally looked like they could have been the older version of those people.
Absolutely.
So it was crazy.
Alison Hightower, that was a perfect
casting.
100%.
Oh, she was great.
100%.
Spot on.
It was all great. I did think it moved really quick, but I appreciated it because the whole premise of this section of that history in Westeros is the dance of the dragons, right? The dying of the dragons, the civil war that is going to ensue between Rhaenyra and Aegon. And I think that what they did was they brought us up to speed, and now we can slow it down a bit in the next few seasons to really get into the meat of what's happening in this history. So I thought the writing and the time jumps were justified and they were good. And that finale, it was just when she looked at the camera, I was ready for more. And then I was like, they're going to end it. They're going to end it.
I thought they should.
Yeah.
I thought they should have.
To be honest, I didn't think they were going to, spoilers, get over it. I didn't think, you're not watching this without spoilers.
Yeah, no, it's been too
I
long.
didn't think they were going to kill Luke that quick. I didn't think it was going to happen in the finale because I'm reading the book and it's a little farther in the book, and I was like, oh my gosh! As soon as I saw him land and Vagar's head like raised, I was like, first I got chills, and then I was like, all right, yep, you're done. You're dead.
When he called her mother and then switched it to your grace,
Yeah.
like I was like, boy, is he dead?
Well, see, no, and that's
He's
funny
dead.
because I was seeing that
the tip-off.
the entire show. It started with him like touching the table. It was all like somber, and then you can see that he's just such a boy still, and he is not ready for what's gonna become. He's not ready for the Dance of the Dragons. So when Moms sends him off, I'm like, bro, set him with his brother or something. Like, do something, you know. And she was like, it's a shorter ride, it's a safer ride. You'll be fine. It's closer. When he pulls up, it's like storming. Yo, it's storming. He lands. There's a giant like 747 jet in front of him.
While you fly.
Yo, bro, he's like in his little.
I'm out, bro.
I would have been like, you know what? We'll come back next week. You know what I mean? Right. So
Episode 11.
It was the whole time he was flying and evading. I was like, yo, he's gonna die.
That whole sequence was just sick.
Amazing.
It was when you see him in the clouds when the lightning flashes, Vagar right above him, and then in the book it doesn't go into that. It's just like, oh, they died in the sky, like because it's written like a history book, right?
Right.
But when they're all of a sudden these dragons just go crazy and they're screaming Dohydrus when they're trying to get. I had to get a little High Valyrian in there.
That was what I was waiting for.
Like, I'm trying to get
like obey me.
I'm serving, like serve me, and they weren't. I was like, okay, this is a little intense. And then when he chomps on him and Aemon's face when he's like,
ooh,
oh, yo, this ride home's gonna be so
what you gonna
awkward.
do?
I literally only wanted his eye, but here we are.
and that's what I want to know. That's one of the main things I want to know that happens for next season. Is he going to come clean and say and tell everyone that I did this on purpose?
I mean,
or
he
is he
has
going to
to
make up a story?
No, because
It's already on.
the
their
word's already
Twitter
out.
or whatever.
The word's already out because I mean, however Damon found out,
They
to
be
tell,
sending
you know,
message
they
ravens
had, you know,
tell
little-
Rhaenyra.
out
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like Twitter.
Yeah, it's like Raven Twitter. So the word's out, and he's definitely not back home yet, and not coming back home. And I believe in the books, they never find his body.
Nope.
No body washes ashore.
Nothing.
Because I mean, he was pretty out in the middle of the ocean. But yeah, I think ending it with that was. It's a good choice, man, because
Crazy, man.
that's the gnarliest cliffhanger I think I've had in a while.
She was so mad.
She was
It's about to get crazy. I mean, if you were ever watching Game of Thrones, you know how nuts the Targaryens go on each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of different levels, but they're crazy people.
They're crazy people. Yeah,
They're crazy people. Okay,
my
they're-
eyebrows about to fall off.
you're
It'll be all
I'm
right.
starting to sweat out here.
trying to
It'll be all right.
focus, but it's not
be okay.
happening. If you're comparing it to the original show,
Right.
Obviously, I mean George R. Martin and then the two guys that are, I guess you say co-show running, whatever. They're saying there's like 4 seasons. It's going to be 4 seasons total.
Martin
okay,
said
so-
he said they couldn't do it justice unless they gave him 4 or 5.
seasons, yeah.
It didn't make sense to cover that much time that they wanted to cover in one
So
season.
you're
at
thinking
all.
that there's going to be another time jump?
Huh.
Good question.
based on
Before
reading
this
the
stuff
book,
starts to kick off, I'm saying when they get into like their actual civil war between the
I don't
greens
think
and
there
the
will be a
blacks,
time
right?
jump.
The 2 have houses. I mean, we're going to get.
I don't think we'll open with a time jump.
No.
I mean,
I think
the,
they'll-
the history that they're
yeah.
spanning, if it's like 20 years,
Sometime
we've
during that
run
season.
10, and now we've run 5 by the next jump. We've got 5 to cover in the next like 4 seasons, right? So I think they were doing the time jumps to catch us up to speed to the Civil War that's about
Right.
to happen.
Right.
And then that's where they're going to sit and say, okay, let's pick apart all the different things that happened within those 5 years of that Civil War happening. Because the war actually wasn't that long.
Right.
If I remember the dates right, it's only like 2 or 3 years that the war actually works. So
Yo, I think the fact that we could see more dragons next season and there's going to be more of a fight. I was reading something about them picking up the pace a little bit more. I just want to see more of what we got in that last 5 minutes of the last episode. That was incredible, dude.
I mean, Damon listed names of dragons that we've never seen.
Yeah.
So he started
in there
listening.
whispering with Vermithor.
He was singing to him.
Like
He
he's
did,
singing to
yeah.
him. He's rapping.
Yep.
him.
Yeah. Singing them sweet
Oh,
lullabies.
Mom spaghetti. Numbers are all already.
I'm excited because they're about to
I got white hair. It's like spaghetti.
My spaghetti.
they're about
I
to
hate
bring
you guys.
some sick dragons in that like are untamed dragons. So I'm really excited to see if Vagar and Arax in that last scene are untamed of the controlled ones. Like I
Yeah,
can't
dude.
wait to see the carnage that's going to happen when they start riding these untamed dragons, like completely untamed.
If I have one thing to pick out of this show that I don't want to see any more of, can I please get no more childbirth scenes?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to watch that anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty crucial because even
That's
I
brutal.
wonder how far that they were going to take it because
That is brutal.
it was mentioned like in the books like the baby was born with like a dragon's tail and deformed and,
a
all this kind of
hole
stuff.
in her heart.
Yeah.
Like I was like waiting to see if they were gonna do that. Like literally, it was said to be born with a
dude.
hole where the heart is.
So
I was
yeah,
like, oh my gosh.
I knew it was going to be bad once there was all the pains and crying. She's had 5 kids. This one's different. You know what I mean? So I could deal without that. I'm kind of good with that.
No, the fact that they keep losing them. Like that.
Well,
We're seeing
every
a full childbirth, and then they, it's just the loss that you feel for them,
Yeah.
and then the loss of the child. It's very emotionally heavy,
It's
which I'm sure, which
super
it's supposed to
emotionally
be.
When we were together
But-
after the first episode, they're talking about the heir for a day.
Right.
Is it Rhaenyra's the
It's
younger
like,
version of
ooh.
Rhaenyra, and she's lost her brother.
But at the
at-
same
during
time, I
childbirth.
think episode 1, you think back to Rhaenyra sitting with Emma in the room, and when she's talking about the tourney, and she's like, "These knights are going to go out and fight. They're going to do their duty. Our duty is on the birthing bed."
Yeah.
And she talks about that, and now we have a female-driven story.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. I see it from episode 1. I'm like, okay, so you're trying to pit these two things against each other, these two opposites of like the knight violence that all these men are going out and doing, and the female violence that like now Rhaenyra is trying to play the role of a man, quote unquote, in that culture and be on the throne, but yet she is stuck fighting the same fight that women have fought for centuries.
Yeah.
So it's like the way they pit those two things against each other, and the way they really also pull on the people that are watching of like, yeah, that scene was hard to watch, but none of us batted an eye when his face got sliced in half.
Yeah.
So it's like at the same time, it's like what in culture, like what are you saying like our limit is? Like what are you like you're okay watching that man get his face sliced in half, but then a woman has a miscarriage, which happens like daily all the time, like and you can't sit through that. So it's like it's hard because these writers are writing it so well that you're like, oh my gosh, like I get it. It makes sense why you're doing
Listen,
this.
I didn't like either one of them.
No.